Mark, how are you? I just noticed, I'm just going to say that it is the 3rd of August when we're recording this, and Mother Earth has just won a Group 1 in France. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, she was brilliant. She toughed it out. She was very good, wasn't she? She's tenacious, and look, to win again over a mile, it shows how much we miss Daphne in many ways as well. He was a real well-positioned horse in Castle Hyde Stud. So, but look, there's plenty of young stallions around, so fill his void. But no, she was very good.
Definitely. And mentioning young stallions there, it's going to be a busy sale season for you. I think you've got 4 on the roster with their first yearlings heading to the sales.
That is correct, yeah. We've got so obviously Saxon, who we're going to talk about today, but on top of that, in Castle Hyde, you've got Gustav Klimt, Sioux Nation, who are 2 speedballs, and up here in Coomber, we've our own speedball in the Dewhurst July Cup Middle Park winner US Navy flag. So it's going to be an exciting couple of years. Magna Grecia, Calix, 10 Sovereigns. We've loads of young horses in the pipeline. Satsas in the way as well. So we Churchill starting to make an impact. Caravaggio. So it's definitely an exciting time around here as well, and especially with the void of Galileo now. So we're always looking for the next one.
Definitely. And so we are going to focus on Saxon Warrior, and you mentioned their Arcana, but just to talk about him a bit more in detail, he was really classy 2-year-old and an even better 3-year-old. You might just remind us of his racing career.
Yeah, he was a brilliant racehorse. He was an unbeaten 2-year-old, a Group 1 winning 2-year-old. He was unbeaten over a mile. He was a classic winner, improved at racing, which is one thing I really liked about him. As the year went on, he got better and better. He ended up he had some brilliant duels with Roar and Line. I think a lot of us remember he got the better of him in Doncaster, but I think he bet him twice in total. But he was a fantastic racehorse. He won the Race and Post Trophy, then he went on and won the Guineas like Camelot. So it's kind of got a stallion's criteria in his form. So no, we're really looking forward to a brilliant race record as well. So and he stacks up.
Definitely. And he's by a stallion who I think is sadly missed. But you might just tell us a little bit about his breeding and the sire line, and then obviously his dam side is quite impressive as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, Elena. He's very interesting horse. So he's by kind of the 3 best breed shaping stallions of our generation. So he's by Deep Impact, who is the most sensational sire in Japan, and his sons are in high demand. His son out there at the moment, Kazuna, would have topped the foal sales. I think it nearly made $4 million the foal by him. So you could see the demand for that is quite incredible. Then he's out of a Galileo mare like Night of Thunder. And then she herself is out of a Danehill mare. So they're the 3 most influential stallions in the modern era in the Northern Hemisphere. So to combine the 3 of those, it's very exciting. And then you put inside of it then the dam side of things, which is the pedigree that's been around Ballydoyle and Coomore since the 1980s. A mare called Rose Red, who MV O'Brien and Mr. Magner would have bought in America, I think it would have been actually the 1980s on the button. She went and raced in Ballydoyle, and they cover her with the best of stallions at the time. She went to a Ledge, she went to Seattle Slew, Mr. Prospector. But the family didn't kick off till her daughter started producing, and then you got Dr. Devious. Even so, the Oaks winner for Jer Lyons, that would have been from that pedigree. Dancing Rain, the Oaks winner. And then you go to Samora, and then maybe would have been a champion 2-year-old. And of course, then she produced Saxon Warrior. So it's a real strong pedigree by the stallions he's by, and then on the distaff side.
And him as a horse himself, I remember I saw him at the Guineas and I thought, oh my God, he's so impressive. And then I saw him when he first retired, but I'd say he's probably let down since then, and he's probably even more impressive now. Can you just kind of describe him as a horse?
Yeah, he's become very much a man of himself now. He's very masculine. Himself, you could see he's the size and scope to be a classic horse and to get a better 3-year-old, but he's a lot of strength to him. So you can see why he was an unbeaten Group 1 winning 2-year-old. And I think he put that into his foals who were very strong. And the foal market is regardless of what they've did on the racetrack, that they like to see what they look like when they go to the sales, obviously. And when the buyer saw them, he was the leading first season sire at the foal sales in Tattersall's in December, and 9 foals sold for an average of over €100,000, which is incredible feat. There were good walkers like himself. He really stamped his stock. They were strong with scope. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're kind of middle 2-year-old types, middle of the season 2-year-old types that went on to be classic contenders. that's the type they were. And that's what kind of coincides with his pedigree, makes him so internationally appealing. You know, the Japanese are looking for that kind of middle distance horse. Just Americans were interested in him. So that you can see that kind of 8 to 10 furlong market is where the kind of real international market is. That's what the classics are. And I think that's the market that he'll fit into as well, both on pedigree and physique.
Yeah, it's interesting though that you mentioned the full sales. I remember last year being at them, and there was just this buzz about the Saxon Warriors, and they were bought by some pretty shrewd people as well. What's the feedback been, I suppose, from breeders, but also from those who saw them, you know, who bought them at the sales?
Yeah, there was some lovely foals. In particular, I was a big fan of Norris Bloodstock sold a lovely foal that Philip Staffenberg bought, and then of course the Warren sold a lovely colt that Timmy Hyde bought. Timmy Hyde bought 2 very nice colts by him as well. So there were great judges there. And what really surprised me, well, not surprising is the wrong way, but what showed the support that he got at the sales was the breeders who used him this year. I actually was looking at there this morning, from the Aga Khan, Godolphin, Northern Farm, the Wertheimers, the Niarchos family. Like the who's who of the international scene would have rolled back into him this year in the year before they hit the track. So it shows you where the support is from, that they liked what they saw, and they're willing to back him until he hits the track. So I think it's going to be exciting. There's 9 yearlings by him in Arcana, and that's the first catalogue book that's out. So looking forward to seeing them. And then of course we'll naturally roll on to Goffs and Newmarket after that. But no, definitely we're looking forward to seeing them all now. And it's a pedigree that I suppose it's been around here a long time. Deep Impact himself came from there, that was sold by Barronstown, which would be a good family friend of the Magners as well. So it's something that it kind of ties in, even though it's this game, it's international, but it's all tied back into knowing each other as well. So it summarizes a lot of this bloodstock industry.
Definitely. And it's interesting, like just that you say that the international scope of it. He also shuttles to Australia. Do you know how well he's been received down there?
He's been received very well in Australia. He was Deep Impact himself has had a lot of success in Australia, and when they saw Saxon Warrior, they really liked him. And it's that size and scope to him that would catch you. And he's been very popular. He's great value down there. And the other thing as well, being out of the Galileo mare is a big success down there as well. Through the autumn sun, and that really highlighted how good of a broodmare that Galileo is. So no, there's a lot of hype about him. The Deep Impacts always sell very well when the handful of them do get across to the Gold Coast or the Magic Millions. So it's a name that they know so well, and they're even probably slightly more interlinked with the Japanese market than we are as well. So they're kind of more aware of the racing scene down there. Usually in locally in Ireland, I suppose people wouldn't be as well aware of how good of a stallion the likes of Kazuna is for in Japan, the son of Deep Impact. So they're things that they would be slightly more exposed to than us. And the other thing actually I forgot to mention was when we're talking about the sales scene, there was already 2 yearlings sell in Japan. And to show the demand that they averaged €1 million each. One of them made 1.4 and the other one made 600,000 euros. So that's the first 2 yearlings to go through a ring this year. So that's quite the start, and hopefully long may it continue.
Definitely, Mark. Well, he's definitely one of the most exciting horses with first yearlings at the sales this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing them myself. And I hope they do sell well. And thank you so much for talking to us about Saxon Warrior.
No problem at all, Elena.